what seems like an eternity. We are back, John.
It's
NFL Week 1.
It's
Football.
finally back.
Football time. Football.
We're actually making real predictions, real
Oh my
props, and we'll have
goodness.
something to watch.
We can take the training wheels off. We can get back to what we do best. I am Jay, Mr. Sully, and this is the partner extraordinaire from down under, John Roberts. And we are
What's going on?
Nation. Like and subscribe. We've got some heat coming for you this season, and it all starts right meow.
Man, I'm excited. This game's going to be awesome. Detroit, Kansas City. Who would have thought Detroit?
Oh, I mean, this has been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. Dan Campbell, he's been building up quite the squad, and this squad from last year, watching them and watching how that team developed into what they're doing this year. You know what? I don't think anyone's going to be surprised if the Lions have an extraordinary season filled with a lot of high-flying games, a lot of fantasy darlings.
Yeah, I'm not as high on the Lions as other people, which we will, as you'll soon find out.
I feel like you're high on like the Atlanta Falcons, though. You know, like
but I am a little bit. But see, like how fixed is the Detroit Lions defense really when you think about it? Like they were one of the worst.
No, it's true, but I think that's what makes for such entertaining football is when you have a team that is like they're throwing the ball all over the yard, and they invested so heavily into a pass catching running back who is they're going to use him. They're going to use him, and Jameer Gibbs, he's going to get the volume. I think that's what everybody thinks, and I tend to agree with it. I don't think he's worth, if we're talking about fantasy football, I don't think he's worth where he's going. But I do think that they are going to use him quite a bit, and I think they want a mulligan for DeAndre Swift. Yeah. So
let's get straight into it, man. Let's get straight into this. We're going to do Thursday Night Football coming right up. Lions at Chiefs. How are you reading this game? Yeah,
I think the Detroit legitimately has a shot to keep this game close, but I do think that the score gets racked up. But you know what? This is also one of those times where I could be completely wrong, and both teams could just run the ball all game long, and then the score is only 17-14. You know?
Yeah.
but I think opening night of NFL, I think here it comes. Here comes the boom.
I'm looking at the opening total is at 54, so it's been bet up quite a fair bit. 54 is a lot, and then Chiefs are getting 6.5 at the moment, and that's been fluctuating for months between 6.5 and 7.
Yeah,
haven't seen it at 6 anyway. Actually, having said that, it just hit 6 at the moment as I'm looking at it.
Really, it went to 6.
Yeah, so people are coming in on the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, they're coming in on the Lions.
Coming on the Lions.
Yeah, they're coming in on the Lions. I believe it. You know what? Here we go. But do I think that the Lions are going to win the game in Arrowhead? No, I don't.
No. It's going to be 31 degrees in Arrowhead. It'll be 28 at kickoff. That's going to be hot.
That's it.
Yeah. So, like, my thing with this game is I think that the Lions are going to struggle here. And so, for me, whenever it comes to footy. Football. So
NFL, Australian, John.
I know. Football NFL opening night. My strategy typically is to look for all the unders.
Dangerous
man. I like to try and take advantage of the casual bettor who,
who's excited
Thursday afternoon. They're going to be, oh my God, there's a game of football on tonight. Holy shit! Oh, it's going to be
over $10.
They're really good, and they'll just bet overs wherever they can. So my strategy to take advantage of the casual sports bettor in that regard is to look at someone like. My first prop, okay, so here's my first one. I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this number opened at 70.5 receiving yards.
It's at 75 right now.
I'm looking at it. It's just gone up to 80.5. And I'm going to... So my strategy for betting unders here is to wait until kickoff because you want to wait.
Where is that you got it at 80?
I'm looking on PointsBet in Australia. I'm not sure about PointsBet in Canada.
Yeah, I'm looking at the score. I'm looking at the score and MGM right now, and you can find it at 78.5 all the way down to 76.5. And at 76.5, I'm very tempted to take that. But anyway, at 80.5.
I'm looking at unders, man. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this content as well. If you have a look at here, so this is last year. We're looking at my spreadsheets where I've been tracking what the sports betting market has put down for each game. So, for example, 60.5 receiving yards, 5.5 catches, and then the green means did it go over? The red means it went under. And then the grayish one there, that just means that it hit exactly that mark. If you actually look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mean, this is a guy who plays heavy in the slot. I think that the Chiefs, now we know that Jameson Williams is suspended for the first game.
So, yeah, who else is it, though? It's Marvin Jones.
It's Marvin Jones. It's Josh Reynolds, sorry.
Raymond?
Khalif Raymond. Like, these are the main guys. There's also Sam Laporta, but this is a rookie tight end who has never played before. I think that
they have him at 30. They have him at 31 yards right now, by the way, which
they do.
I mean,
which I think is too high.
Yeah, in a game where they're going to be playing from behind, John.
We say that. The way I see this game going is, I think Detroit is just going to run the shit out of the ball. I think they're going to want to keep the clock running as much as they can.
I don't disagree.
It up. There's no Jameson Williams. The receivers are really bad. I think Amon-Ra is going to be double teamed all night.
Oh, I agree with you.
Have to rely on the other guys to get through that. And I just don't see, like, if you even look over the last 5 weeks of last year, he only went over his receiving prop of 70 once. It was all unders for the most part. And he was really, really hard to stick around with. So, yeah, that's just why I look at that. And I'm like,
look at those receptions, though. Look at those receptions. He was catching so many friggin' footballs last year.
So if you feel inclined to take the receptions over, if it's about 7.5, I mean, that's risky.
It's 6.5. It's 6.5.
6.5, yeah. So,
and I feel like opening night, you're going to be able to move that down 1 point or up 1 point. So if you're feeling feisty and you want to go I can't see 8 receptions, so I can't see it. But I can see if you can move that down, and even if the line's minus 200 and you're going to parlay that, I think at 5, and if you can get that at 5.5. 5.5.
Oh, they won't be 5.5.
No, you can. If you can move it, you can find a service that offers you one point down, 1 point up.
We'll see. So that's my first one. So my recommendation to people is to wait until the opening night actually comes.
Wait till it inflates, and then until
it's already going up.
It'll go to 90.
It'll go.
It will. It's going to take off like a rocket.
I'm actually looking at it right now. I'm like, I might just do this right now while it's at 80. So that's my first.
No, but you could probably move the line. No, I don't disagree at all. I completely agree with you. My thing is that I would wait as well, and then before the game, I would move that little slider, and I would wait until it gets up to 85, and then I would move it back down to 80, and then you would get some a good payout for that. I think, if you can wait, and we know that that's projecting up. It's not going to project down. So we know it's projecting up.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not? If you're going to stay at what is it? What would be minus 115 on the books? If you know that number as it keeps going up is still going to be at minus 115 for the under, why not wait? Why not wait until, if we know we're taking the under? John, why don't we just hold the line, baby, and just wait until that thing goes to its absolute peak, because it's not coming down.
And this is my advice for pretty much the entire season to come. Sorry, man, the sun's cutting in and out. But if you like overs anywhere, you need to sort of bet them as the lines open, as the books open. And if you like unders, usually you just want to wait until kickoff comes.
Yep. And you know what, John? Let's do it. Let's do the under, but I, to be honest with you, I only feel comfortable taking this under just somewhere over 80.
Yeah.
So I would wait until it goes to like 84.5 or 85.5, and I would
you can get up there.
It's going to. It is going to. And especially because everybody's like, who else are they going to throw the football to? You know?
Yeah.
But on the contrary,
but it doesn't always work that way. I like that people say that, because it doesn't always work out that way.
No. I like the pick. I'm going to validate your pick. I think I'm not going to take it, though. That's
fine. I've been thinking about this one a lot, though, and I understand why. Like, look at Amon-Ra throughout last season. You know, against the Bears, 10 catches, 119 yards. Against Buffalo, 9 catches, 122 yards. Jacksonville, 11 for 114. Like, it's scary, man.
Pull that back up. Do you have that? Do you have that to share?
I'm just looking on Sleeper at the moment. Here, I'll bring this up. Shout out Sleeper, our favorite. Where did you go?
Definitely our favorite. If you are playing fantasy football, this is not sponsored, but they have the best service by far.
Like 7 for 76, 7 for 76. That makes me nervous. But the 4 for 62, 6 for 49. Now I know that was the last game of the season. It was cold in Green Bay.
You see that one?
A lot of them.
One in Washington over 100. He's got 100 there against Jacksonville, and then 122 against Buffalo.
Actually, let's move to what you're looking at now. I know we said we were going to start with quarterbacks and running backs, and we've gone receiver to start.
Well, that's okay. I mean, hey, look, this is an open floor. I like from the running back perspective. I like both running backs for Detroit, and it's like a toss up for me on what I would do. But I think that they're going to open Jameer Gibbs at 2.5 receptions. Let me see.
He's at 3.5 now on Underdog.
He's at 3.5. Let me see.
Yep. Yeah, and I thought that might be the case because you got to remember there's no one else to catch the passes from.
Right.
Other than Amon-Ra. So,
but I think even at 3.5, it would be worthwhile to take. Do you see the receiving yards while I'm looking this up? Do you see them?
Yeah, receiving yards. I've got 25.5. That's on my book that I'm looking at.
Right there. I'm doing 25.5 then.
Yeah, Underdog, they're doing 26.5 receiving. If you want, so they've got 40. So Jameer Gibbs is 40 rushing yards, 25.5 receiving yards, or you can take the scrimmage if you want to buy 5 yards. The scrimmage is 70.
Scrimmage is 70. Too much.
Yeah, so you have to buy 5 yards.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. Too rich for my blood. But I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at 25.5 in my book.
25.5. So 25.5.
Underdog is 26.5.
You can get that at 25.5, or you can move a line out of an alternate reception down to 3, even if 3 on the nose, so that with the push on 3, that's my double duty right there. Jameer Gibbs, 20, so it's over 25.5, and then if you can grab the even 3 for the receptions, smack them together, boom.
What about you got 3.5 there on Underdog? You taking 3.5 receptions?
If I can't find a service that allows me to move that to an even 3, then I'm avoiding it. But I would do a combo pick with Jameer at 25.5 and 3.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I think I would back the 25.5 as well. I think I would not be surprised if there's a bunch of dump downs. And we even saw last week came out that the coaching staff has said that they want to use Jameer Gibbs in a bunch of unique and different ways that you're not used to seeing.
Slot.
So I wonder if that means he's going to be throwing some touchdowns or something. I'm not sure.
I believe.
Yeah, in the slot.
I do believe that is going to be the case. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see some formations come out with both Monty and Jameer on the field at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
On second down.
There'll be a bunch.
Throwing
and just to go with what we're talking about with David Montgomery, he's at 15.5 rushing yards as well at the moment, which I actually don't mind
50.5?
Yeah.
Over.
I think 50.5 is a good line.
Over. If you want they're going to try and keep him honest.
Take that now.
They're going to try and keep him honest.
Yeah, but I think Detroit's going to really want to run the clock down by running.
I agree. And then play action.
With Monty.
Run and play action. And it's going, I do feel like it's going to be some old school football from Dan Campbell to try and control this game. I completely agree with you. I do think that Goff is going to throw a lot of footballs. I just think it's going to be in probably a well-executed way to try and mitigate turnovers.
Yeah.
Because if you turn this ball over against this Kansas City team, you're screwed. You are screwed. In Arrowhead, too, its ball safety is going to be number 1.
Yeah. So I think that there was a lot of money to be made last year at the end of the season with Jared Goff, particularly when we looked at the passing attempts and the passing completions. So you'd see that touchdowns. And the touchdowns. They were doing really well in that department. So there's a few areas here which might be worth exploiting. Now, right now, Jared Goff is getting 258 passing yards on Underdog, which I don't feel great about that. I would probably stay away. The 2 passing touchdowns is interesting because Jameer Gibbs just has to catch one of those.
Yep.
Lined up in the slot, and then it's sort of like, can Amon-Ra catch one as well?
Or Laporta.
We are also looking at the completions, which is at, I think it was 22.5 is what I saw it at the moment. Yeah, I think I just made sort of some finger in the air guesses of 33.5 passing attempts and 22.5 completions there. Now that for the most part of the season, we were looking at the overs were being hit. And also you got to remember that last year they were getting very frustrated with DeAndre Swift as well. And his sort of usage and volume was going down a little bit.
Well, yeah, he was also playing injured, right?
In fact, I can bring that up. So Monty, that was used in the Chicago-based system. If we have a look at, so Jamal Williams was being used pretty much only in the run game. If you were trying to catch him in the passing games, you could have made a ton of money for unders and even scrimmage yards. And then DeAndre Swift, his usage just sort of started to drop away. It was never really there.
They didn't utilize him, which is so weird to me, because even if you wanted to trade the guy, it just makes me feel like there was something going on there, because DeAndre Swift is an incredibly talented player, and he made me a lot of money the season before with receptions, like a lot of money for receptions the year before. And I wrote him for the first couple games, and I said, I'm off this train. I am off of it. And for the rest of the season, it just kept going down. So
now do you think that these guys are going to be like a one-to-one, like Jameer Gibbs will be DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery will be Jamal Williams?
No, I think you're going to see both of them on the field more together. Yeah. And I think that's until they have some more support coming in for the receiving core. So you made a comment earlier that you said it's hot out, right?
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot and humid probably. And you're in a situation where, how old is Marvin Jones?
He's like 31, 32 now.
31, 32. Not in mid-season form.
Yeah.
But at the same time, all these guys are professional athletes, but you do get tired. There is fatigue. And if you can not send somebody stretching the field constantly, which Jones has always been that guy. He's always been the one that kind of takes a safety away from Amon-Ra, or he's a clear out kind of receiver, right? So if you're using him for clearing out, that's a lot of horsepower that you need to have, and as the season goes on, when the temperatures get cooler, or you're in a dome where it's more controlled and you have oxygen being pumped into the dome, you're in better shape for that. But I think an outdoor game, warm, first game of the season, I just can't see them stretching the field constantly. So I think you're going to see formations where you're going to give the option to Jared Goff in the huddle, and you're going to say, well, you have two running backs at your disposal. One can be moved around, pulled back into blocking, or moved out into the slot, or lined up and split. But very, very rare that you see that with the split backs in the backfield.
Yeah,
but they already said they want to use him in the slot. So if you're using him as a satellite, and then what's to say that you don't press release with your running back as well, and then have a secondary option? How many people can cover the flats? If you're on the flats in both sides, that's a dump off.
Yeah.
So when you look at and I think they're going to throw. I don't think they're just going to constantly keep running. I think they're going to throw. I think there's going to be a lot of play action. So I do like the completions there with Jared Goff, and I do think that Swift and Monty will be used quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I can't see them just going. I just can't see them going with the traditional style of like Monty 2, Jameer 1, Monty 2, Jameer 1. I can't see that. I can't see it happening.
The only thing that really scares me is you got to remember this, and it's about this Chiefs defense. Like last year, the Chiefs defense was the second youngest in the league, and that team went to the Super Bowl and won. Everyone's going to be 1 year older now. I think they're going to be.
What's going on with Jones? Have you seen anything going on?
He's still holding out. He said he's going to hold out until week 8 if he has to.
do you think this is just? Do you think this is just a tip of the hat right here? Do you think that this is gamesmanship?
Look, I couldn't tell you what's going on there. I mean, but what I did see
feels a little fishy. Something feels a little fishy, like it's gamesmanship. And then all of a sudden he runs out onto the field and everybody's like, oh my God, what the, and then you're like, oh shit, we just prepared to really exploit that whole side the entire game and he's on the field.
All right, I like those picks as well. Let's move now to the man of the hour in Patrick Mahomes.
I'm off. I'm just off. You go. You talk. I have nothing when it comes to betting and it comes to Patrick Mahomes all season long.
Yeah.
Look, the NFL is a crazy, crazy organization. It's insane. And when it comes to betting on superstars like Patrick Mahomes, the entire world wants to bet on Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Which means that I want nothing to do with it.
It is risky, man. Like he had absolutely
you educate the listeners. I want nothing to do with it.
Consistency at all at any point last season. He was just all over the shop. The best you could do was attack the over passing yards, which I am sort of looking at the moment. But then if you take a look at the Super Bowl, he threw 3 touchdowns. He threw for 187 yards in that game.
I know. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's just so juicy because he's arguably, I think Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in the league, but I think, arguably Patrick Mahomes, it's the best, the GOAT, the new GOAT.
Yeah. And this is the thing. So we're looking at 300 passing yards. You can get 15.5 rushing attempts, which usually he is actually a bit of a runner. You can, if you want to make a bit of money on rushing overs, if you're looking at 36.5 passing attempts. I'm looking on Underdog and 25.5 completions. It's impossible to stay. For me, Patrick Mahomes is mostly a stay away. If this
You're smart, John. You're smart.
If
I know your
yardage keeps going up, though, I might be inclined to take the under on his passing totals. But man, again, I get nervous because there's some
Patrick
games
Mahomes, he can throw 450.
He was throwing like 400 last season. Yeah. He was going absolutely ham all the time.
He plays the next game and he throws 230.
But my thing is, like, I can just see in this game that the Chiefs get out to a 2-touchdown lead early on, and then they just don't really need to do anything anymore.
Who's even running the ball? Is it Pacheco?
Well, this is the thing, because Clyde Edwards-Helaire has still been getting first-team reps
touches
in camp and preseason touches. And Isaiah Pacheco was injured during the preseason, so we didn't see too much of him.
And then
McKinnon still kicking around.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know. I don't trust. I said it on a couple shows ago. I do not trust anything about this Kansas City backfield.
Right.
I probably will not make, unless it's a Sunday night pick, and we're making those calls Sunday afternoon, John, over a couple of beers, and we're giving a slate to somebody last minute, and I have to take someone from that.
Right.
That's the only time that I'm doing it because I just can't. I can't get behind that backfield. I don't trust it.
And right now on Underdog, Isaiah Pacheco is getting 55.5 rushing yards or 68.5 rushing and receiving yards together. Like, I'm thinking under, man.
So they're saying 13.5 for his receiving total?
Yeah, thereabouts. I don't see him getting that many scrimmage yards.
The 13 receiving yards?
Oh, sure. I don't know. I didn't track Pacheco last year because I didn't think it'd ever be a thing.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Here we are.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I drafted him in fantasy real late, and nobody believed in him. But but his receiving. So he had a couple games towards the end of the year where his receiving totals were closer, narrowing in on like 20. And I don't know the exact numbers. You have them. Do you want to pull them up?
Yeah, I'm looking at them now from last season. So receiving yards. It was really only in the back half of the season when they didn't
design anything for him at the beginning of the season for any throwing, but they started to use him. And then in the playoffs, he was clutch. Like, he made a couple very good receptions, and honestly, his vision once he caught the ball, he was a little anxious towards the beginning of the season when the balls were coming at him. He had a couple drops, also couldn't get squared up and get his speed going. But once he got comfortable. Honestly, watching that guy, he looked very fluid catching out of the backfield. Not any crazy routes or anything, just really simple stuff.
It is all over the shop. Like, I'm looking at, so week 18, he had no receptions, no targets either. Week 17, Denver, 2 catches for 18 yards. Yep. Seattle, he had 1 catch for 32 yards. So
that was a big one. I remember that one. No, it was he honestly, he's a horse, man. He's a horse when he's a tackle breaker.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about would you take a receiving prop when it comes up? It'll be about 15.5, I reckon.
It shouldn't. It should be 13, right? Because it was 55, and then you said the all-purpose was 68.
Yeah, and usually you have to buy 5 yards as well if you're going for all-purpose. So
I already have my running back that I'm taking.
Yeah,
That's my
fair.
Jameer Gibbs pick.
Yeah.
But here's what I will say. Don't hold it against me because I'm not going to put it on my card. But I would advise if it's at 13.
We'll put something up closer to kickoff as well. We just wanted to try and really get ahead of the lines this early on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's jump to the final group that we haven't talked about, which is these chief receiving options.
Does Justin Ross play?
Yeah, Justin Ross.
Does he play?
So they've come out and said that they're going to use him in design packages to begin the season, probably for the first month or so. And then in the back half of the season, they say they want to get him on the field all the time.
Feels a lot like Josh Gordon when he was there.
Right. We don't have anything for Justin Ross at the moment. So what we do have is MVS. We've got 2.5 receptions and 35.5 receiving yards.
35.5?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the thing with MVS. Basically, what they're asking is, do you think he's going to catch a 40-yard bomb?
One catch. So what I was going to say is that what's his longest completion? If that number is under 18, that's pretty spicy.
Yeah, he was really difficult to bet with as well last season. Like every game was just different. The Chiefs were using him in different ways all the time. MVS is probably a stay away for me.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, if these Detroit cornerbacks have not really improved on last season, then I can definitely see him catching a huge, like 40-yard bomb.
Yeah, I think, but like I said, it might not even have to be. You may not even have to sniff anywhere near that, right? Like I think it might be. You may only have to sniff 17 yards for the longest completion for that bomb, right?
Yeah,
and those are great picks. So let me explain this. If you are on the fence ever, this is to our listeners, not to you, John. I know you understand this, but if you are on the fence about receiving yards and you understand the game script, or if you listen to this show and you start to get a feel for a game script on what we're talking about, how the game might go, then you start to look at alternatives for receiving. And one of those, so there's the receptions, there's the reception, like your receiving yards, and then there is the longest completion. And the longest completion for a lot of players who only catch 1 or 2 a game, and if you notice a trend where they have a designed play against a certain type of defense where they're going to take 1 or 2 shots at this type of play. I'll use Foster Moreau as an example. Last year with the Raiders, they constantly gave him 14, 15 yards for the longest completion. And anytime they were playing cover defenses, like typical cover defenses and zone defenses, they would try this one play where he would go for about 18 yards. And you just look at it every time, I don't know, I would just look at the team they were playing and I was like, they're going to try this twice. And out of the 2 times that they try it, do they hit him with one? And more often than not, like 80-something% of the time, they hit him with the longest completion. And you could just print money doing that if you understand the teams and how they're playing, and if you watch from the first 3 weeks and what their playbook starts to look like, and you start to see some of these plays and you see them reappear every game, and you start to go, oh, like they're definitely going to try that next game. I think, it's just common sense, I think, for a lot of the time, or maybe I just feel like it's common sense. But in this situation, I do think that they're going to try and stretch with MVS. He's a clear out receiver. So, but if he's open, Pat Mahomes is going to take that chance. So I do believe that somewhere, if that, I'm trying to look for it right now to see what the line is for MVS on his longest completion. But you can make a ton of money just betting, not betting on how many yards, not betting on how many times he catches the ball, just on somebody that you know is going to get 1 or 2 receptions, and chances are they're going to be on a design play that's stretching.
Yeah, and that's really the way I look at it as well. As someone like DK Metcalf who plays on the outside, you always want to target his scrimmage yards, and then players who are playing in the slot, like Amon-Ra, we were just talking about earlier, really good option to actually target the reception totals as
100%.
opposed to, because they're more likely to build up at the line of scrimmage, particularly. And then that's another good point is a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, he's going to throw the ball downfield. He's going to push the ball downfield a lot. If you can target these rookie quarterbacks and second-year quarterbacks, they are more likely to throw the ball at the line of scrimmage and then let the players go from there. So,
okay, they have them at 17.5 MVS for the longest. I nailed it. So 17.5 is what they have them for the longest.
So how are you feeling about that?
Take it.
Like if you just feel like you're on the spot, you don't have to take it.
I do feel like I'm on the spot.
Yeah. Well, let's save that one, and then closer to kickoff, we'll tell you what we think.
All right, I like that. But if this does hit, you're taking this clip and you're putting a green check next to it.
Yeah, of course. But no, this is nice. So so follow us on Instagram, and we've got a bunch of stories we'll be posting leading up to kickoff with actual confirmation ones. I think this will be a confirmation pick.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm going to have to think about this, but I really do. I do like it. There's a couple in here that I really do like. Even the Pacheco at 7.5 for the longest completion. Yeah, and they have a few in here that are pretty spicy.
So these receiving options, I'm just going to bring them up now. So what I can see is Sky Moore's getting 35.5 receiving yards or 3.5 receptions. I think under 3.5 receptions, to be honest. MVS, I've got one. My book has got him at 40.5 receiving yards and 2.5 receptions. And then one, Travis Kelce, 80.5 receiving yards and 6.5 catches. What do you think about Kelce? Also, Underdog has 0.5 receiving touchdowns over or under. So do you think he'll catch a touchdown, basically? I think he will.
Yeah, I think he will, but I stay away from these types of picks.
You stay away from touchdowns? Okay.
Yeah. No, not always touchdowns. I just stay away from the superstar touchdowns.
Right.
I have a thing about betting on superstars. You know how I feel. I don't know. I've been burned so many times. Like I've done this. This is, not, I don't even know how many seasons now. I feel like I've been doing this since 2009. That you start to notice trends when all you want to do is bet on favorites and superstars. I'm not saying that the NFL is rigged or scripted or anything, but there's just some weird shit that always happens, But Kelce, what's he at? Probably 6.5, 7.
Yeah, 6.5. So he's at 80.5 receiving yards or 6.5 receptions. I kind of want to stay away from both of those.
Yeah, honestly,
I can definitely see him going over.
Keep me away.
Yeah.
Yep, and keep me away from the touchdowns. I would I feel like another one in this game would be for a touchdown. I would say Monty. Give me one for Monty if you're taking it. I would say probably Jameer, and I would probably roll the dice, and it would be like a low single, like just a unit play on Sam Laporta.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I don't have too many thoughts on Sam Laporta at this stage. Just the rookie tight ends. I find it hard to get excited about them in any instance, let alone they're kind of the only receiving option. I know we've heard some really good things about them.
I think on a situational play, like it would take the right circumstance on the field. Like I think if Detroit finds themselves at 3rd and 9, like 3rd and goal at like 9 yards out.
Yeah.
10 yards out, or they get backed up 1 or 2 and they're like 3rd and 11 or 12. It's probably not going to the running back.
Yeah,
it's probably not going to go to Amon-Ra because he's going to be double covered.
Yeah,
and it's probably not going to go to one of their shorter receivers.
Yeah,
it's probably going to go to the bigger body that can box somebody out right at the line, and they'll probably throw it to him maybe a yard short of the end zone because they're going to be protecting the end zone, and they just hope that he can take it muscle. And that would be the circumstance for me. I would take Sam Laporta on, like, I'm not saying everybody go to the book right now and buy Sam Laporta for a touchdown. I just think situationally, I could see that being a situation that would happen in this game. And it would be a 9 or 10 yard completion.
Yeah.
Touchdown, Sam Laporta.
Yeah. All right, that sounds good, man. So let's do a quick recap then of what we've got before we close out the show. So I think are we both in on Amon-Ra under 80.5 receiving yards?
I told you I would validate you. I would validate you,
so
and I validate the listeners for taking that.
Yeah. I'm on Amon-Ra under 80.5 receiving yards. I think we're both on Jameer Gibbs receiving yards as well, over 25.5.
Yep.
Was what we were looking at. Scrimmage yards we'll probably stay away from. I still like David Montgomery over 50.5 rushing yards.
Love it.
I think that's in a good position. And then these quarterbacks, I think I'm staying away. I'm definitely staying away from Patrick Mahomes unless you like over 15.5 rushing yards, but I don't see him needing to rush too much in this game.
21 completions for Jared Goff. If you can get it, take it.
If you can get that, 255 receiving yards, I almost want to bet under that.
I just saw it at 260. And my thing is if this game does slip, if there is a turnover or two, which, like I said, this game is going to completely come down to how well the ball can be secured by Detroit. Yeah. If there's a fumble or a turnover, Kansas City will make you pay. Yeah. And at that point, you're then playing catch up. And if Detroit finds himself coming into the fourth quarter down by 2 scores, and we have under Jared Goff 255, I'm gonna be shitting bricks.
That's what I hate about betting the unders though as well.
Because then the entire they stop running. He'll keep throwing it, but it'll be quick completions. He used to do it with DeAndre Swift 2 years ago.
Yeah, but even that last game against Green Bay, they never abandoned the run at any point, even when they were down in the fourth quarter. They weren't down by much. They were only down by less than
they don't completely abandon it. And I know Dan Campbell, he has a little bit different of a philosophy, but like I'm telling you that Jameer Gibbs at that point goes to the moon. Because you're looking at how do you get the ball safe up the field and quick chunks. How do you get 4 yards at a time? Yeah. And you just keep push, right? And that's where it scares me, because what would otherwise be like maybe 50-50 from run to throw ratio, now it goes 80-20 throw to run. And then if some of those break loose, you're screwed. Because you get 2 touchdown drives where they have to go up 70 yards up the field. And out of those 70 yards, each one is 50 yards of throwing. That's 100 yards in 2 drives. You know? Yeah. In 1 quarter. So that scares the absolute fuck out of me, John. So I'm not taking the under on that. I'm not doing it.
But we're making an assumption about the game script as to what we've.
You have to, though. This is how you have to bet. You have to make it. You have to make an assumption.
But the way the sharps are betting is they're coming in on the Lions. So
yeah,
who knows?
I get it.
What about the Isaiah Pacheco under 80.5 all-purpose yards?
Yeah, give me that.
Yeah, I think I'm on that one as well. And then the receivers, I like the MVS longest catch one, just because I think he can burn these Lions cornerbacks.
He's only going to catch 2. He's only going to catch 2 in the game. He is. Maybe 1. Maybe just 1. But it's going to be 18 yards.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. Week 1.
Let's do it.
Everything that we've been waiting for, and we're about to embark on a new journey with our listeners and our viewers. They know what to expect now, I think. And we're only going to keep delivering the goods, and it starts right now. I have not been so excited for football season, and it's been years since I've been this giddy for a football season to start. And I'm happy to do this with you, buddy. And I'm happy to do this.
Stay tuned for our Sunday slate episode coming later in the week as we get closer to kickoff on Sundays. I can't believe we actually get to say that now.
Coming in hot. Coming in hot.